top menu bar. So you click present. You give that a moment to load. Now, depending on if you've been in here before, how many presentations you've created, your dashboard may be empty, or you may have lots of presentations. Like once it loads, you'll see mine has. There are different ways that you can organize this. You can see up here in the upper right, you can do by date created, you can do it alpha by title, or your recently updated ones. So you'll see as many times as you've done these presentations, it will continue to load on your dashboard. Now you can archive them and hide them or delete them if you choose to. You also have a search opportunity here as well. So it just depends on how you want to see this organized. But for today, we are going to be talking about those property reviews. Again, amazing sphere of influence marketing for all of your previous buyers. So in the upper right, you want to see where it says create new. You want to click there. And like I mentioned, this is our CMA, our competitive market analysis product, but there's also buyer tours, buyer presentations, non-listing, great for newsletter or other marketing pieces. But we are going to be talking about this property review right here. So once you click the radial button there, in the lower right, you click continue. It will load your brokerage template. If you choose the drop down, if you've ever created your own template, you have the opportunity to go there as well. And then we have our Coldwell Banker parent company templates as well. You can see it loads with 11 pages. If you're curious what those pages are, you can click the blue pages link and it will go through all of the options. Even though you're picking the template, doesn't mean that you're married to all of these pages. You still have the opportunity to customize this on the back end. But it's a great starting point without having to recreate the wheel. We all love a little leg up and not having to do these processes. So we just go ahead and choose the template and click continue. From here is where you want to go ahead and put in the presentation name. So whatever your previous buyer's name was. Oh, and I don't have an MLS attached to this account, which will not let me pull in counts. But typically, this is where you will have your MLS. If you are a member of more than one MLS, you can choose which MLS to pull comparables from. Now, unfortunately, you can't cross MLSs. So if you want to pull an MLS account from MLS A and B, unfortunately, we're not allowed to do that right now. You are able to manually add comparables. So that is an option, but you cannot cross MLSs here. So you'll have to pick which one you want to default to. We do have this new option of both your classic blue residential marketing and your luxury. So depending on where you sit in the market, if it is a luxury property, and you can always go to desk to find out what that luxury threshold is, you have the opportunity to have the black branding on this. So black for global luxury, classic blue for regular residential. Now this is kind of a new feature as well. So you have the option if you want total square feet, total finished square feet, or above grade finished square feet. The option there is going to be based on what your market dictates, what's normal in your market. So it does default to total square feet. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that there and click create. Now, like I mentioned, I'm not in an account that has an MLS ID on it. So it is not going to let me pull in comparables, but we'll go through the steps anyway. So you can see there, it did take a moment. It almost looked like it wasn't working, right? The screen just kind of went back to the dashboard, but it does just take a moment because it's kind of building it in the back end. So you want to just give it a moment there and it will absolutely pull in. So from here, you would be able to pull in the address that you want. Obviously, if you sold them the property, maybe it was a year ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, maybe it was 5 years ago, you'll be able to pull in that property from the MLS. It actually will bring in the comparables. And in order to show you this better, I am going to go ahead and switch accounts real quick to an account that does have an MLS ID in it. And we'll just go through these steps pretty quickly again, but it'll be a nice refresh. So again, we are in Moxie. We want to go to present, which again is the option in the upper left corner there. Once this pulls up, again, what we did was we want to create new. We chose property review. We chose the Coldwell Banker template. We put in the name of the previous buyer. Now you can see there is options of your MLSs depending on which ones you're members of. And again, you can choose that presentation design and choose how your square feet are shown and click create. Again, here's where the screen kind of goes a little bit normal, like is that property actually working or is the product actually working? And I rest assure you it is. And then once that pulls up, you can see now that you can actually pull in the MLS data. So let me go over here and pull an MLS number, which I can't seem to find. So give me one moment here. Well, one more moment. We'll go to the dreaded Zillow to pull. Here we go. So once you have that MLS number from the previous time that it was listed, you're going to see that it will allow you to copy in that information. So you're not starting from scratch. You're not having to upload photos. You're not having to put in square footage, features. All of that will come over from your MLS. Now, obviously, if you had the buyer on the property, it probably wasn't your listing. So you may or may not want to use that photo. You just need to make sure that you have the rights to it. But you can always upload your own photo of the house, but it will pull in everything that was in the MLS. So you'll see it pulls in the location, pulls in all of the data, lot size, square footage, all of that great information from the MLS. Same with the remarks. Now you may or may not want to use those depending on how they read. Obviously, if you're doing a property review, the property is probably a year or 2 or 5 years old. So it's just based on what you want to market to your sphere of influence, your previous buyer, if you want them to see that or not. From here, you click continue. This is where it's going to allow you to search for comparables based on how you have your mapping. So you can do it by location, you can do it by zip code, however you want to find your comparables. You'll see that the radial button at the top defaulted to MLS on me, and that's why it didn't pull any, and it's still doing it. So give me 1 second here. So we did it by city and zip, and you can see on the map, this is what it's mapping. So if you want to play around, you can do play with your beds and baths. Sometimes the system makes the search parameters too narrow. So if you're not getting results, you just want to play around with your filters. So you can see you can pull in different types of properties. Your square footage sometimes is a little bit too narrow. So you just want to make sure that you play around with your filters. That's going to give you more comparables. And again, it's pulling in anything from the MLS. And you'll see it pulls in everything that is mapped out. So if you want to truncate these, you can always draw on the map as well in a tighter area. If you're doing waterfront in the filters, there is a waterfront option. Also, you can draw on the map. So it's only going to give you results that are in that black border on the map, depending on how you have your search parameters. Now from here, you'll see that sold is pulled in along with anything that's withdrawn, canceled, expired. Green is going to be your active, and there will have pending properties in here as well. So depending on what comparables you want to share with your previous buyer, you can include all, or you can just click on the check or click on the picture and it will pull those comparables in. So again, based on that story of the market that you want to share with your previous buyer, who now owns their house, you'll choose the options that you want to have pulled into your property review as the final product. From here, you click continue. We're going to give that a moment to load. This is where you'd be able to add a custom listing. So maybe it was never in the MLS, it was a created sale, or it was a new build, whatever that other comparable is, you can actually add in custom listings here as well. So you'll see it gives you a listing summary. It goes through, you have 3 actives, 1 pending, 3 solds, 0 others, lots of opportunity to customize this. And you'll see that we're always scrolling down here to click continue, but you can jump back and forth on this by also choosing the menu items at the top. So you'll see now that we have 7 listings and we still have those 11 original pages, but this is where you have the opportunity to further customize that. You can let the system do the work for you by your estimated market value. And again, that's going to be based solely on the square footage and the pricing that came over from the MLS. But you can also create a range, put in your own range. You can do a percent if you want to. Lots of different options to customize that market value. And again, you're the experts in your market, so you know that dollar value best. Click continue. This is where it's actually building that presentation out. Now, this is the pages that we pulled over from our template, but from here you can either delete if you want to. So when you hover over what that page is, you can delete. You also have an opportunity to edit some of these pages, but you can add pages here as well. You can create new and do a completely customized page, or you can add from the library. We have a lot of content in here, which is amazing, right? Because content is king and it's hard to find content sometimes. So you'll see that we have 161 pages that come over from our brand. And we also have 58 pages that were loaded by our amazing marketing group. It doesn't seem to want to load. There we go. From our blue book and our black book. So lots of content to pull in from our listing presentations while you're building out this property review. So again, you have the opportunity to update any and all of these pages. Now to view this, we'll just go ahead and go to web, but do know that you can print this as well. Maybe you want to take a bottle of champagne over to your seller to congratulate them on their 1-year house anniversary. You can have this printed up. You could take it with you. Or of course, we have the web version that you can email to them. The good thing with the web version is it stays live. So whether they click on it today or next week, all of those comparables from the MLS will be updated. So if you send them an active, but it goes under contract next week, if they click on the link after it goes under contract, they're going to see that updated data. If there's price changes or whatnot, all of that will stay live and updated in the web version of your presentation. So you'll see it's always completely branded to you as the agent and also has your brokerage branding on it as well. And as the seller scrolls through this, they'll be able to see the comparables. You can type them a nice customized note in the email, or again, like I said, you can print this as well and take it to them, mail it to them, drop it off with cookies, whatever it might be. But this is a great way to stay in touch with your sphere of influence and send this to them, whether it's, like I said, every year on their house anniversary, or maybe you're just out there searching for inventory, which we all are. So you want to go through your database and find your previous buyers. You can absolutely pop in here to MoxiPresent, create this property review for them, and then send it off to them either by email or again, print and send or print and deliver, which is even better. So again, just to recap, we are in Moxie. We went to desk first. We went to MoxiWorks. We went to present. And we're going to give that a second to load. So you're going to see now on the dashboard, this one that we just created is right here. So whether you start this while you're sitting floor in the office and then you have to run out for a showing, you can always come back and finish. But you can see there within 10 minutes, we had a full property review ready to go to send off to our previous buyers. So again, great sphere of influence marketing. And it really keeps you in touch with your clients, and because they all want to know what their asset, their home is doing for them. So that's what I had for you today on Moxie Monday. What questions do you guys have for me? Feel free to go ahead and unmute or type them in the chat box. And we'll just give it a minute here. Wonderful. Well, I don't see any questions. As always, once you get into the product and you start using it, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your ASC, your RSC, or myself, and we will get you fully up and running on this amazing product for your sphere of influence marketing. Thanks so much for your time today. Appreciate it. Bye now.